Praise the name of the Lord. Welcome to Honorable Vessels. My name is Jacqueline Kansin Mrindwa. This week we're going to look at suicide. Suicide is the act of intentionally causing one's own death, always associated with overwhelming emotional pain, hopelessness, mental health struggles, trauma, abuse, severe stress, or a feeling that life cannot improve. People get to that level, then they choose to take them. It may begin with suicidal ideations, thinking about or considering or planning how to execute it. Some people do suicide attempts. They engage in self-harming behavior with an intention of dying, but somehow they survive. And some do self-harm. They intentionally hurt themselves, which may or may not involve suicidal intent. So always look out for this. Unlike what many people imagine, that people who die by suicide, please note, people die by suicide, they don't commit suicide. It's not an offense. Why? Because they are struggling with all these things that I have shared before. So many people think that people who die by suicide are selfish. Many people who experience suicidal thoughts do not truly want to die. They're always looking for relief. They're from the intense suffering and emotional distress that they're experiencing. And here are some of the mental health conditions linked to suicide risk, especially if they go untreated. Depression, bipolar disorder, PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder, substance use disorder, schizophrenia, anxiety disorders. And we looked at anxiety disorders in the recent past. These usually affect someone's emotional regulation. They affect their sleep, their energy, and their hopefulness. Another mental health condition linked to suicidal risk is stressful or traumatic experiences. People usually become vulnerable after experiences such as loss of a loved one, abuse or neglect, academic pressure, and we have seen young people die by suicide because they are forced to study things they didn't want to study, or they are told they didn't perform well and they go ahead and end their lives. Bullying, discrimination, chronic illness, pain, unemployment, and many others. There are also social and environmental factors. For example, lack of social support, stigma around mental health, access to lethal means, violence, loneliness or isolation. These factors contribute to suicidal risks. There are major risk factors that I want us to look at, which increase the likelihood of suicide. Self-harm behavior is a risk factor. Family history of suicide. If it has happened in the family, it can happen again. Previous suicide attempts. Someone has tried on several occasions. Actually, people who have come out to share their testimonies tell you they tried several times to take their lives. So it's one of the major risk factors. Substance misuse, feelings of hopelessness. All these are major risk factors. Here are the warning signs that we should never ignore. And many people ignore them only for them to remember that, oh, they said this, or they did this. But it's too late. The person has already died. So these warning signs These are some of the warning signs. Talking about wanting to die. Me, I want to die. I'm tired of living. Sudden mood changes. Increased drug or alcohol use. Saying they are a burden, because most people come present with suicidal ideations. Say they are a burden. They feel like they are burdening everyone. Withdrawing from others. Searching for ways to harm themselves. Neglecting personal appearance. Writing suicidal notes. Sudden calmness or sudden happiness, making amends with people. All these are warning signs that someone may want to take their life. Also, a sudden improvement in mood after severe depression can also be concerning if a person has decided on a suicide plan. So look out for these. And we know that suicide has become very common, not just among young people, but it cuts across. And many people are taking their lives, not because they don't want to live, but because they're in so much pain and they feel this is the only way they can get rid of the pain. How can we prevent this tragedy from happening? How can we prevent suicide? Early mental health support is one way we can prevent it. Getting help early for emotional distress, trauma, or mental illness, among others, can significantly reduce the risk. So if you're going through pain of any kind or trauma of any kind, seek help early enough before you can get to that level of pain where you feel like suicide is a solution. Counseling or psychotherapy. This can be individual counseling, can be group counseling, especially if you're going through a challenge as a group. It can be family counseling if your family is going through pain of any kind resulting from the things I have discussed earlier. It can be couple counseling if you're experiencing distress in your marriage. It can be physical, but it can also be online, depending on the arrangements you make. We need crisis intervention. It also helps, especially where there is a contagion, because usually when suicide happens in a community, in a society, chances are high that it can happen again and again. So crisis intervention is necessary. Medication for all those mental health challenges. Peer support groups also can help prevent. Engaging religious leaders, schools, and health workers can also help in the prevention. When these are sensitized on suicide, they enhance When these are sensitized on suicide, they enhance early interventions, which reduce stigma and provide a holistic support addressing both spiritual and mental health needs. Education and awareness is one other way we can prevent suicide. Enlightening people on the warning signs. Responding compassionately also helps individuals seek help sooner than later. When people are judged, they withdraw, they don't share what they're going through. So respond compassionately. Encourage open conversations. And if they admit, don't fear to ask them if they want to take their lives, looking at all the signs. And if they admit, please stay with them, remove dangerous items, call the helplines, or seek professional help. How can we integrate faith? I can't fail to share with you that integration of faith is also very helpful. Faith can play an important role for Christians experiencing the suicidal thoughts, especially when it provides hope. Because faith provides hope, provides meaning, provides a belonging, provides compassion and connection. However, suicidal ideations should be treated as serious mental health concerns that require professional care alongside spiritual support. Don't tell the person, no, you come. First come and we will pray and we will read the word. Yes, that is good, but make sure they get medical attention as well. Listen to them calmly. Acknowledge their pain. Many people go through pain, and because they have no one to acknowledge it, that's why they resort to suicide. Reassure them. Let them know that there is hope, and whatever they are struggling with can come to an end. Avoid shaming statements. It's because you lack faith, for example. Avoid those statements. Assure them that their life has dignity and value. Suffering doesn't mean God has abandoned them. And in most cases, when people go through pain, they think God has abandoned them. Encourage them to seek professional as well as medical help. And for the church leaders out there listening to me, avoid presenting suicide only as a spiritual weakness or sin. Conditions like depression or PTSD can involve biological, psychological, social, and spiritual dimensions. And be there to support families that have lost their loved ones. Be there to support families that have lost their loved ones to suicide. Don't judge them. Stand with them. They need all the support. Give them spiritual care. Give them emotional support. Let there be a community connection. Don't distance yourselves from them because they have lost a loved one to suicide. That is why most people treat it as shame, treat it as something that is an abomination. But it is a mental health challenge that leads people to end their lives. So they need all the support. Give practical assistance. If someone's problem is unemployment, lack of food, give financial support, give shelter, give food. That is what believers are supposed to do. Give referrals. If you realize you, for example, a religious leader and a person approaches you, and usually people open up to their religious leaders because they feel it's a safe space. If they have opened up to you and you have listened to what they are going through, in addition to providing spiritual guidance, please refer them. If you realize that someone is in deep distress, please refer them to people that are going to help them, to a counselor, to a doctor, to people that are going to help them deal with whatever pain they are going through and how they can address it. And after someone has died by suicide, please respond carefully. They are very delicate. The family is delicate. Everyone is judging them. Offer grief support. Avoid blaming them. Avoid condemning them. Provide referrals. Avoid harmful rumors and stigma. And support the family. Proper handling of suicide subject helps reduce the risk of suicide contagion. Like I told you, when someone dies by suicide, there can be a contagion. Some scriptures to encourage you as I end. Psalm 34 verse 18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Are you brokenhearted? Are you crushed in spirit? Are you contemplating suicide? The Lord is close. The Lord wants to heal you. The Lord wants to restore your life. And Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." The Lord will give you rest. Are you weary? Are you burdened by the cares of life? The Lord is willing to give you rest. As I end, I want to let you know that suicide prevention is vital because it protects life, restores hope, and reminds people how precious their lives are. Will you take it upon yourself to prevent suicide? Because every life matters. God bless you. Do not forget to share with someone who is in pain for one reason or the other. Be blessed always.